quite a lot of amendments in the new version of the CISA exam, but that doesn't mean that you get scared because of the amendments. I can say probably close to 10 questions, but the way they put the question, you might find the question is on domain 5 and it also has some element of domain 2 or domain 3. So, and I also kept watch on, there's some updates you did on the training videos that I think there was a dedicated video for all the amendments. So I did take a lot of note on anything to do with amendments. Okay. So coming to the exam is like 7 to 10 or 11 questions that are from the new amendment. But having gone through the whole resources, you're able to tackle the question without any issues. So I could say don't be scared so much because there's an amendment of a specific domain, but just get prepared, include those amendments, those changes in your studies, and focus. Towards the last minute, I was giving too much detail on those areas that have been added because you might find a very tricky questions. Yeah, I've taken so many certifications, AWS, all those stuff, but some are quite lengthy in terms of the question. So as you read the question, you have to do a lot of analysis of information. But interestingly, out of the question, you give us some for practice. They were quite lengthy. But when you come to the exam, they are very precise and direct to the point. But if you get used to the style, the tricky part is getting used to the style of isaca, the way they put their questions. It can be just 5 words, but I'm telling you, the question can make you sweat during the exam because the answers are so close to each other. You have to know the basic. Even if it's just a small thing, you have to know to differentiate the answers. But the other thing I noted is, if you have done enough studies and enough preparation, automatically, once you go through the question, you're able to identify the first 2 long answers that are distractors. Most likely 2. You are left with another 2 to decide which one is the best.
Hello everyone, welcome to CISA-This-Much. This is Aditya and today we have with us Mr. Daniel who has recently qualified CISA. First of all, heartiest congratulations for qualifying CISA. Before we ask you any question, how is it feeling?
It's almost a week, but I'm really excited. It has been a very tough journey. It has been a long journey. And going by what people post online, you get scared, but if you're prepared, you face the monster and you will be able to conquer it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Can you please, share your background? I mean, can you please introduce yourself, your background also, and also what made you choose this certification CISA?
Okay. I'm Daniel Kabuongo. I am based in Papua New Guinea. But I'm a Kenyan. Actually, I'm here just professionally to work. My current role is a technology manager. I'm also the cloud solutions architect for PNG Data Corp. By extension, I've been managing ISMS project or the program ISO 27001, 2013 and now 2022 version for the last approximately 4 years. So. Okay. In terms of sorry?
Yeah, go ahead, please continue.
Okay, in terms of my career experience, it's quite extensive. I started from the background in, normal IT operations. I've been so much deep in cloud computing because my functional role is cloud solutions and managing the business enterprise technology within the business. So 15 plus years working in different entities, both in Africa, in Kenya, and now in Asia Pacific, particularly in Papua New Guinea. So I've quite a lot in IT background, but now I've dived deep in cloud and ISMS compliance. I'm so much now in compliance, having attained the CISA certification. Yeah.
Awesome. Glad to know about your experience and your, more than 1.5 decades of experience. So, was it easy
Yeah.
for you? Like if I have to ask you this question, how much time is it required for an experienced person like you, who is having background in IT, who is not a fresher, who is not a beginner, right? How much time it takes, and how much time you recommend to people for the certification?
Uh, I can say there is, depends with the individual. For me, in my case, I've taken a lot of certifications, especially in the cloud computing, AWS, Microsoft Azure. I normally take roughly a month or so, depending on how busy I am. But for CISA, having done a lot of research, it needs a lot of time to prepare. I was giving approximately 6 months, but I have a very busy schedule. I have other duties. It's quite hectic. During the day, I cannot be able to do anything. So if I have to do any studies, it's probably early morning or late at night. But I'm not a late at night person. So most of my things do early in the morning. So I took quite a lot of time. I started around September last year, preparations, but a lot of things, some audit going on. So I was on and off. But what I did, because I didn't have a lot of time, I started from LinkedIn, those LinkedIn training courses. I love watching videos. Most of my training, I do videos. I love videos. I learn very fast through videos, taking my own notes because I'm able to speed up. I can put the speed times 4 times 1. That makes me cover a lot of things in a very short time. So what I did, I started the dry part of it. I got the CISA book, the official guide, for CISA. It forced me to buy a tablet because most of the time on the move, I'm very busy. I want to be away from my laptop. So I had the PDF, soft copy of the CISA guide. When I have a chance, when I'm traveling, I use the PDF version on my tablet. When I get a chance on my PC. But the further thing, I started I did a lot of research before I started doing the study. So I started the opposite, not from domain 1 to domain 5, because I've been managing ISMS. I've quite understanding most of the concepts. So, and going by most everybody online people are posting, domain 5, domain 4 is quite lengthy and needs a lot of concentration. So I started from top going down. Domain 5, domain 4, domain 2, domain 3, domain 1. Okay. So
Awesome.
once I was done with the book, I'm taking some notes because it's quite huge. It's quite dry, nothing much, but I have some little background. So I read it very fast. So towards December, I was done with the book. I put the book aside. So I did a lot of research, a lot of videos, a lot of short videos, but I was not getting what I want. So what I normally do, I follow a lot of people on Reddit. What people are posting. Someone took exam last week. So I came across a post that was mentioning your course. And I won't say the name of the person, but they listed the order of preference. And from the list, the only video list that was there is your course. Okay. And you remember I reached you I think on WhatsApp asking you, is this course enough for me to deep dive on CISA? Okay. So toward around January, first week of January, I made a decision. I didn't have any other video training. I decided to stick to one, which was Aditya CISA-This-Much. So I don't regret, because the way you keep repeating concept is quite interesting. Even today, they keep ringing in my ears. What you keep repeating all those concepts. So from your course, I took from first training video all the last video. Okay, and in every domain, or the video, the way you have listed the videos, I extracted a list of all the topics and the length of the video. Okay, that's what I did. Then I developed a tracker, an Excel tracker. For each video, I have to record every day how long I've taken. If completed, I indicate completed, so that I keep focused every day. It doesn't matter whether it's just 2 videos. It doesn't matter. So going back to my tablet, it will really help, because I'll be able to go through the video. Maybe I'm flying somewhere, I go through the video, I finish on them. So I kept tracking all the test papers, but the more effort I put was on the sample questions, because I love your training, because once you go through the question, you give so much details on why A and not B. Okay, and some of the out of my tracker, there were some questions you kept repeating, and the good thing you are giving the tips. So what is ISACA trying to test you? So I take note of those questions. I go deep dive. Like you might ask a question asking about is team a detective or preventive? So I'll get the answer. I'll read the concept, but on my side, there's a lot of tools right now. There's ChatGPT. There's so many AI tools. So I'll go deep dive and list all detective tools, all detective within there that are covered by ISACA. So not just whatever is on the question, but I go another step and I make some short notes, last minute notes. So that really helped. And from the MCQs that you provided in the course, I think I went 2 rounds because of time. I'm very busy. I reached a point I'm finding I think I have been studying for so long. So towards May, I was feeling I'm ready, but a lot of work, a lot of other duties, so I couldn't be able to do that. I decided I normally book my exams like 3 months before, but for CISA, I decided not to do. I made a decision. I'll book on a Friday and I'll take the exam on Saturday, such that I don't have time to book the exam. So it will make me keep focus. So towards the end of July, I booked the exam on I think 27th to take the exam on 29th, and that's what I did. So I've taken so many certifications, AWS, all those stuff, but some are quite lengthy in terms of the question. So as you read the question, you have to do a lot of analysis of information. But interestingly, out of the question you give us some for practice, they were quite lengthy. But when you come to the exam, they are very precise and direct to the point. But if you get used to the style, the tricky part is getting used to the style of ISACA, the way they put their questions. It can be just 5 words, but I'm telling you, the question can make you sweat during the exam, because the answers are so close to each other. You have to know the basic. Even if it's just a small thing, you have to know to differentiate the answers. But the other thing I noted is, if you have done enough studies and enough preparation, automatically once you go through the question, the first you're able to identify the first 2 long answers that are distractors. Most likely 2. You are left with another 2 to decide which one is the best. So I can say I prepared from last year September, all the way towards June. That was when I was very seriously on my study. But towards the whole of July, I didn't touch any book. The only thing I touched, the only books, were the last minute notes that you have given within the course, because those you're able to grab this concept, those things you are forgetting so fast, and probably those I was making short notes. Okay, that is probably, I don't know, I've gone out of the scope,
No,
but
I mean,
that's kind of a high level style what I used. Yeah. Yeah.
This was the most detailed and great answer. Thank you very much for going in detail and explaining each and every point. And I would also like to add few things based on your answers. So the way he mentioned that initially he mentioned that he understood that he was very fond of videos. So he learns new things more efficiently via videos, right? This is what I've learned. I mean, this is what I've understood based on your answer, right? And this is very important because you need to understand what works for you. There are some people, for them, they videos doesn't work for them. It's like they have to read bulky books, and this is how they learn. So the first basic fundamental thing is to understand yourself, like what will work in your favor, what will not work. So that's number one thing, which is the step number one. Then the second thing which I really liked about you is that you also did the strategic preparation, like as you mentioned, you haven't started from like the domain one, the initial domains. Rather, you went from the last domain, which is the domain of 5 and then 4, and like that. So again, you need to understand that this is how you prepare, and also based on experience. Like in his case, he was already experienced, so he knew that there are some domains where he's a little strong, and if he does that domain first, because anyways domain number 4 and domain number 5 has got the highest weightage in CISA exam, right? So approx 50% of the weightage of the exam is based on these two technical domains, and in terms of syllabus also, these two domains are the most, you can say, vast in terms of the syllabus, and also in terms of the amendments also. Like there was so many amendments under domain number 5, right? There are some people, when I take interview, they say it was like domain number 6, because there was so huge amendments. Like like how you used to manage, again, my next question to you is, how did you manage these amendments, because those were actually quite good amount of amendments. And second thing, how many questions you felt that in the exam they asked? Because as far as what I have got the feedback, because I keep taking these interviews, and many people have told me that like from the entire paper they have hardly got around 10 to 15% of the questions. So according to this, does it, like, is it right to say that even now also 90% of the paper is coming from the old syllabus, and hardly 10 to 15% questions are coming from the new syllabus? So how many questions you felt came from the amendment, and how did you manage these, watching these lectures and all? Because I see, according to me, all the amendments were important. Okay, like when I was recording also, what happens is that in the review manual they will give you a half page or 1 page of amendment. However, in order to understand those words, you need to understand the background, like why those amendments were introduced, what's the history of it, right? What's happening in the industry, how it is relevant for the auditors. So like when I teach, I mean, I cannot just directly teach from the review manual, saying that okay, learn only these half page and that's it. No, because I mean, when I make any lectures, so I feel that if a person is a beginner, if a person is not having any background of IT, even that guy should understand each and everything. And also a person who is at a very advanced level, even for that person also, he must learn something new out of it, because he must be knowing everything. Because especially once you are in the industry for more than 2 decades, it's not that you don't know things. You know things, right? You know the basics, but then you should also know something new out of it, right? So you should be also getting the value out of it. So just to know your opinion on the amendments, and how many questions you felt in the exam from these amendments, new changes.
Okay, there's quite a lot of amendments in the new version of the CISA exam, but that doesn't mean that you get scared because of the amendments. I can say probably close to 10 questions, but the way they put the question, you might find the question is on domain 5 and it also has some element of domain 2 or domain 3. So, and I also kept watch on, there's some updates you did on the training videos, that I think there was a dedicated video for all the amendments. So I did take a lot of note on anything to do with amendments. Okay, so coming to the exam is like 7 to 10 or 11 questions that are from the new amendment. But having gone through the whole resources, you're able to tackle the question without any issues. So I could say, don't be scared so much because there's an amendment of a specific domain, but just get prepared, include those amendments, those changes in your studies, and focus. Towards the last minute, I was giving too much detail on those areas that have been added, because you might find a very tricky questions. Yeah, that's what I can say about those particular questions.
Yeah, and like again,
Yeah.
you took 6 months, which is the ideal time, for finishing this exam. Like even isaca, they say that around 4 to 6 months is the ideal preparation time. There are people who do before this period. There are people who takes more time to crack this exam, but
Yeah.
it all depends. See, in the end, what I also advise is that not to take the unnecessary stress, because what
Yeah.
I have seen people that especially this is true for experienced people, that they will be having very limited time, because anyways they're already busy in their work. They have their work responsibilities, they have other they have personal family responsibilities and everything. They are not able to devote time. That's number one. Number two is that
Yeah. Yeah.
they will be also having a strict deadline, maybe from the employer side, or maybe maybe for their job promotion, something they want to show something, like especially it happens before the, like during the March end or April end, when they clear this exam, mainly for getting the appraisal, right? So
Yeah.
because of that also they have the strict deadline. And what happens is that when you have a strict deadlines in terms of the concepts, you must be aware about all the concepts. But what happens is that when you get to solving these question answers, that's the time these people also face difficulties, especially when you have experience in multi domains, right? Like the way you have, right? Because what you would be doing in your practical world, in your office, may or may not directly match with what is required as per the Isaka mindset,
Yeah.
right? So was it a
Yeah.
challenge for you to unlearn what you are doing, because you already know things which you already do, right? Since you have experience, you have a good background. So was it a challenge to remove things from your mind what you are doing, and to learn things what is required as per the Isaka mindset, or we can say the best practice in place? Like was there any kind of any kind of this issue or a challenge in your case?
Yes, that I can say you 100% correct. Coming from a lot of IT stuff, I've had a lot of IT. I have a lot of IT background. The first like 1 or 2 months, it took a lot of time to change the way I look at things, because uh, like I'll give you an example. Like you get a question whereby you ask what will be the first thing to do, or which is the best option. There's an issue data center. Uh, in Isaka mindset, the first thing that comes in is human safety. Okay, but in the normal way around of the way we do things, you might think of maybe turning off the power, something there's an emergency. So it takes time for you to get used to the way what you are calling the Isaka mindset. Okay, takes a lot of time. Having coming from a lot of IT stuff, you do things differently. So you have to change the way you are tackling some of these questions. But by the time I was doing practice of the MCQs, the questions also train you how to approach some of these scenarios you are given. Okay. Otherwise, if you come with a normal mindset, the what people do on daily basis, guarantee you will fail the oral exam, even if you have experience, because you have to tailor your minds, your understanding to from an audit perspective, from Isaka kind of thinking. Otherwise, you might find you have even 20 years of experience, but you can fail the exam very easily. Very easily you can fail the exam. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. And is it also true that especially for people from purely IT background, so they, for them, it takes some time to understand the business aspect, because this exam, CISA, it not just focuses on IT, it also helps you to link IT and business, right? So that's the, you can say, the main heart of the certification. Especially, that's the reason also I always say that people should start from domain number 2, because unless and until you don't understand how business works. Because if I am in IT, I will feel that from start till end everything is about IT. But no, when you learn domain number 2, then you realize how things works in the organization, how the senior management works, how business and IT is interlinked, how audit is being done, and importance of each and every aspect, right? So even that a person who has done multiple certifications in IT. Okay, because there are other certifications as well which may or may not focus on the
Yeah.
business aspect, but this certification also
Yeah.
focuses mainly on the business aspect. And that's the reason you will find that in most of the questions you need to understand, the options will be either go with the laws and regulations compliance option, and the responsibilities of senior management option, governance option, so uh, is it true to say that, for especially for IT people, it will take some time for you to get that business mindset also in, in while solving these question answers? Because I think even that's a criteria, because as you have mentioned earlier also, uh, it will hardly happen that a question is a purely domain 5 question, a purely technical based question. The question will always, revolve around uh, testing your audit skills, testing your, like, whether do you understand the business and IT, business and audit, right? So that's where I think, you need to change your mindset.
Uh, uh, Let me say, you have to change your mindset. Something that came clear, which initially I didn't even think about it. It's you in your course you have kept insisting IT must go with the same step with a business strategy, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So the whole exam, that is the main concept. Everything you are doing, whether it's you are doing auditing, IT has to sing the same song with the business strategies. So that is across the whole exam, across the whole course content is the song. So uh, ideally, some of the people don't even think about how you align IT to the business objective and all those mission and vision for the business. Yeah. So that is a big concept within the whole exam. Everything you are doing, there is an element of management oversight. Management is aware. All those steering committee audit, what do you call it? The scope of the audit. There's an endorsement of management. There is you go to change management. There's an element of management aware of the changes. So it covers the whole exam. Yeah, covers the whole exam.
Yeah. All right. Any last piece of advice you would like to give to the CISA aspirants who are watching your interview? Any last piece of advice or tips or trip? Anything. It could be like, you have also mentioned that you have made your own notes also while watching the lectures and all. Whether that helps, people, your own handwritten notes. I know we do have our the charts and LDR notes, but I also keep saying that, when you are watching any lecture, if you take down your own notes as well, it is like an active listening, because there are two types of listening. When you watch a movie, it's a passive
Yeah,
listening, but when you watch a lecture,
yeah,
you cannot understand a lecture by passive listening. You need to actively listen, right? And this is
yeah.
this is what, like, any piece of last piece of advice you would like to give to the aspirants?
Uh, I have a very tight strategy associated with the time. So when I went through your resources, I put them in. I had to put them in order so that I don't start jumping, having the look at the questions. I didn't do that. So I went through the videos. I have like three small books that I was writing the notes because I realized I'm not able to go back to the videos, then watch them. I don't have that time. So the whatever I was writing down is what I stick with, and whatever I noted, whatever you write down, it's very hard for you to forget. So during the last minute of preparing the exam, I took my notes, which are shorthand notes, and also was able to some of them I was able to print or go through the PC. Those last minute notes that you have given within the course that are very important. So sometimes you look to a diagram, you see those small notes you draw with your marker pen, they are very important. You look at those diagram, you see the whole domain. When I look at that small diagram you draw on those notes handwritten, I'm able to see the whole. I'll get the whole concept back if I probably started last week or last month. So that is very important. The handwritten notes are very important because it's a lot of resources. I cannot do, actually I was not even able to go all those notes you have given. The last minute I was only able to cover those chip charts. I was not able. I had no time. But once you build confidence, you don't have to worry so much.
Yeah.
So what I can say, have a structured study. Like I was very strict with my when I started with the official guide. I was make sure every day I cover 15 pages. Doesn't matter. I take the whole year, 1 hour or on 2 hours. At least 20 pages are down within every day when I get a chance. If I skip, that means I have a depth of 20 another pages. So tomorrow I'll cover 40. I have to make sure I cover. Otherwise, if I skip that, it keeps piling up within a week. You have like whole chapter to cover. Okay.
Yeah.
Then it's good to use multiple resources. I know I did a lot of other resources. I started with your short videos that I have put online free on YouTube. That gave me encouragement because I wanted to hear what you say about other domains. People are talking about saying it's very hard to study, and you are repeating type style of training. Yeah? That is a very positive thing from coming to your course. So use multiple resources. Also stick to what you feel being the best. Uh, Funny enough, I never even had a chance to think of buying CISA books. I didn't buy any other CISA book apart from the official guide. Even those other, they are so expensive. I cannot be able to invest so much on those stuff. Okay, so you look, choose the best material, the best resource. In my case, when you give something on video, I'll learn it very fast. So depending on what you love and what tools you are using. Uh, the other thing is don't aim for perfection, but understand. The aim is to understand. Don't even try to cram it. You keep in mind readiness for the exam. Okay, so learn to understand and not to perfect. You cannot be 100% to know everything. Okay. The other thing will be very important. You book exam. You feel you are ready to go for the exam. Okay. Like what I did, I booked the exam and I make sure I don't have time to try saying, okay, there's something coming up urgent. I can reschedule the exam because exam you have to schedule within 24 hours. I book on a Friday, exam is Sunday. I don't have time to try to change the goal. So you stick the goal, and I think you'll be able to pass the exam. One thing I want to say is I'm sorry to say so. Some people might say it's a very hard exam. I have taken quite tough exam. Like CS, you are given a certificate, you are given a practical exam. CISA, I found 1 hour, I was done with the questions. But because of the way the exam is giving a lot of there's a lot of hype about a lot of exam, I had to take a lot of time going through the question one by one. And the funny thing, I had to change answers for like 5 or 7 questions. Okay, the first 1 hour, 40 minutes, I've gone through the exam. Any question I don't get the concept, I don't even want to think about it. I just flag it. That's what I did. I had 14 question flagged, no answer, nothing. I make sure I just use the answer, but I'll go back again. So I reviewed 10 questions. 4 were kind of the toughest questions. I had to take time to go through this. So that's the strategy. Don't waste your time in questions because of the time. Just flag the questions. Get enough time, rest. By the time you go to the last question, I think you have sunk to the exam. You know how the exam is. You come back and you clear all those flagged questions. Yeah, I think those are kind of the strategy. Yeah, and I found the exam not that tough as people try to push around.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your entire journey with us, and like each and every the strategies which you have shared. I'm 100% sure that these will help a lot of people out there who will be watching your interview. Like you mentioned that even small things like flagging the question. Even I keep repeating, if a facility is given to you, right? If a feature is given to you, we need to utilize that, right? Because what happens is that most of the people, they get demotivated, by wasting their time in these questions, which they could have solved easily towards the end. Because again, what I have seen is that the exam can never, I have never seen any question set which is having like the entire questions are difficult. It can never happen. The exam questions will be a mix of easy questions, medium level questions, difficult questions, and there will be few questions which you will have to flag. So if you spend your time in those questions earlier and getting frustrated and getting demotivated, that's not going to work. Rather, what will happen is that whatever you knew, whatever questions you could have answered right, even those questions you will answer it wrong because of those frustrations. So you need to play very strategically. You need this is like a game, right? This is like a game, and you need to win this game. And then like if you think from that perspective, everything changes, right? So thank you once again, and we wish you all the very best for your future as well. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the resources. Your resources are quite detailed, up to date, and I wish those who are inspiring to sit for CISA can grab a copy of your course, and that is a guarantee you pass. If you don't pass, probably something is missing somewhere. But I guarantee you the course is enough for you to pass for that exam.
Thank you very much, and
Yeah.
again, wishing you all the best for the future. All right.
Okay.